On a different point, you said that you hope that UCL laboratory will be the best in the world. Are you there yet? With particular regards to the computer science department.
We want to do world-class. We want to do world-class science, and we want the scientific contributions that we make here to be genuinely world-class and to have significant impact on important global issues. That's our aim. Are we there yet? I think that we are certainly competing in that. We're certainly competing in that space. There's always further to go.
Yeah.
You can always get. It's part of the job. You can always get better. But I like to think that that all the members of staff in the department here, people who work with me, are people who are doing world-class science. Every day, but
So, would you have any advice for students of computer science, but also students of all subjects?
The piece of advice I always give my own first-year tutors, is engage. Engage with the material personally. It might sound funny, it's somehow in sort of sense sitting in the front row. I mean it physically, and I mean it sort of mentally.
Metaphorically.
Yeah, it's to do with feeling that you're engaged with the material, feeling a personal sense of wanting to. If you sit back, you let it wash over you, then it's just going to be A, overwhelming, and B, it'll cease to lose its meaning and its meaning. But if you say, you convince yourself, this is something I want to learn about, and you actually say, I'm going to work with it, I'm going to work with trying to learn it and engage with it. It becomes more engaging, and as it becomes more engaging, there's a self-reinforcing cycle. And I remember a teacher once, the lecturer was doing a course. He said to everybody, what was your most satisfactory learning experience? What is the time that you felt, doesn't matter what it is, whether it was learning to drive, whether it was learning to scuba dive, whether it was learning, whatever it is, what is the most satisfactory learning experience that you had? And then reflect on that. And ask yourself, why was that learning experience so good? Why was it that worked? And almost inevitably, you'll find the key was that you really engaged with it. That you really were motivated, engaged with the job. That's the case, then, that's what's likely to lead to the best learning experiences.
Can you explain perhaps the concepts behind requirements engineering?
Okay, so I'm a software engineer,
Sure.
which means my interests are how to construct large and complicated pieces of software and ensure that those pieces of software do what you think they ought to do.
Okay, yeah.
That's the base. That's the bottom line. Now, one of the real difficulties in building software is getting the software to do what people want it to do.
Right, yeah, of course.
And that means understanding the requirements that people have
Yes.
for the software. Most big software projects go wrong because people didn't really understand the requirements. Okay? They didn't really understand what the software was intended to do. So that's what the discipline of requirements engineering is essentially about. It's about trying to ensure that there's a Japanese phrase, which is rather clumsily translated. It's called the voice of the customer. So requirements engineering is about building software in a way that you can hear the voice of the customer.
You have said that part of the challenge now with software is that it's not like the whole system will be created by one person. It's many different components
Yeah.
Can you talk about that challenge?
Let's imagine we've got a river, a stream, okay, and the stream is, let's say, about as wide as this coffee table. Here, I'm not sure the coffee table is visible in the image, but trust me, there's a coffee table here. Okay, and so the coffee table is about as wide as this. Now, we want to bridge across this little stream.
Yes.
So we put a plank over the stream, and we walk across the plank, and the problem is solved.
Okay.
No problem.
Right.
We've solved the problem. Okay. Solved the problem. Now, let's scale this. Let's assume that we have a river that's maybe twice the width of this room. So, I don't know what you might say, 15 meters or something like that across. Now, you've got to bridge the stream. Okay. Suddenly, this is a different sort of problem.
Because that one plank.
The one plank won't cut it, basically. Number of reasons why the one plank won't cut it. Firstly, you can't get a plank that's 15 meters long.
Right.
You're going to have to put several planks together.
Yes.
Secondly, the mechanical properties of the plank won't hold up. It's going to bow. So you're going to have to do some engineering calculations to work out whether you can actually
Bridge
the whole thing. Now, the next problem is that you can't actually carry 15 meters of planking. So you're going to have to explain to somebody else how to do that. Now, if you've ever tried to carry a piece of furniture upstairs with your wife or girlfriend or whatever, boyfriend or whatever it is, you'll know how difficult that is.
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
But you're going to have to explain to somebody else what it is you intended to do.
Yes. So there's more communication involved.
There's communication. Your local authority is not going to be happy. They'll be quite happy if you put down a plank.
Yeah.
If you start building a bridge, the local authority is going to come in, they're going to want to see drawings, they're going to want to see regulations, there's going to be a fuss made about this. So suddenly, from a problem that was, well, just sticking on a plank, what we've got is a real engineering problem. You need drawings, you need calculations, you need management and coordination, you need a plan, you need official approval, all of these things. You've probably got to go and check the bridge every so often to make quite sure that it's not, that the joints in the rope, you've tried things about to collapse, and so on. All of that suddenly becomes a completely different problem. That's engineering for you. That's engineering. Things look very simple in the, in the small. The moment you get it in the large, you're stuffed basically. So you've got to really start having engineering discipline.